Don't move. They're still reviewing the footage of what you just did. Every camera angle, every frame, every pause. You made one move, one single move, and the entire grid went quiet. Do you realize what that means? When silence falls, that suddenly, it's never peace. It's fear wearing a mask. They're classifying your brain as a weapon now. Because you didn't act like a person, you acted like a pattern they couldn't predict. And to them, unpredictability is terrorism. They thought you were improvising. You weren't. You were calculating, quietly, patiently, like someone who's already seen the ending and is just letting the others catch up. You didn't play their game. You reprogrammed it. Every mistake you made was a misdirection. Each loss, a decoy. Every silence, a strike in slow motion. And now they're panicking, not because you won, but because they can't figure out how. You were never just smart. No, you were strategic cruelty, dressed in composure. You smiled through the chaos while their systems short-circuited trying to profile you. Every word you spoke was an encrypted command. Every step, a calculated probability. Collapse. You turned logic into art, pain into propulsion. They see neurons, but what you built in that skull isn't thought. It's tactical prophecy. They don't get it. To think at your level is to stop being human. You don't react. You forecast. You see outcomes before they form. You don't play for applause. You play for disruption. And now, they've realized it too late. Their files call you an anomaly. Their analysts whisper you're non-linear. Their psychologists scribble clinical detachment. But they all feel the same thing when they hear your name. That shiver. That quiet dread that maybe, just maybe, you weren't born. You were built. See, normal people feel before they think. You think before you even feel. That's what scares them. You detached emotion from execution. You learned to weaponize patience. You turned heartbreak into data. Every betrayal became a simulation you ran in your mind until it couldn't hurt you anymore. You didn't move on. You upgraded. And that's when they started noticing. The light in your eyes changed color. Less human, more algorithmic. But here's the fun part. They'll still try to fix you. They'll call you cold, obsessive, dangerous. They'll project their own fear of losing control onto your precision. They'll say you've gone too far because they can't follow you into the depths of your own logic. You're not ruthless, you're refined. You're not heartless, you're efficient. You just stripped away the illusions that kept everyone else docile. You know what you are now? A paradox. A saint with a sniper's focus. A demon with divine timing. You've become the collision point where empathy meets annihilation. That's why they're terrified. You can comfort and destroy with the same sentence. You can calculate mercy the same way you calculate pain. You've reached a state most people fear even imagining, the fusion of intellect and intent. Every genius flirts with madness, but you married it. You didn't let the chaos consume you. You domesticated it. You trained your trauma to sit, stay, and obey commands. They see insanity. You see instruction. They see obsession. You see optimization. You became the experiment that escaped the lab, the ghost in the circuitry, the variable that refuses to stay in line. And when you walk into a room now, everyone feels it. That strange tension, that magnetic distortion in the air. They don't know whether to shake your hand or call security. You've broken the social contract. They can't categorize you. You're no longer normal, and that's the threat. Because every system fears what it can't label. Every authority collapses before what it can't predict. That's the secret, isn't it? Power isn't about force. It's about confusion. You became unreadable, and that That's your camouflage. You can't be controlled if no one understands your operating system. You speak in paradoxes. You live in reverse. While they react, you anticipate. While they gossip, you record. While they burn out, you recharge. They think they're studying you, but every time they look closer, they're staring into their own limits. So now, when they whisper that your brain is a weapon, don't deny it. Smile, because you engineered it that way. They handed you pain, and you reverse-engineered brilliance. They gave you silence, and you learned to listen between frequencies. You mastered the one art they fear most, strategic invisibility, the power to exist in plain sight, unreadable, unstoppable, inevitable. You're not part of their plan anymore. You're the variable that breaks it, and deep down, they know it. They can feel it every time your name gets mentioned. That chill, that static, that signal of something coming they can't control. So let them label you, let them study you, let them call you dangerous. They're right, because your last move wasn't just calculated, it was surgical. Your thoughts cut cleaner than blades. Your silence detonates louder than bombs. And when they finally realize it, when they understand what you've become, it'll already be too late. And the beautiful part is, you didn't even try to terrify them. You just moved, naturally, deliberately, and the room shifted temperature. You didn't raise your voice. You didn't announce your next step. You just executed with precision so sharp it drew blood from the invisible hands pulling their strings. They call it manipulation. You call it math. They're still in denial about it, of course. They're telling themselves it was luck, timing, intuition. They can't accept that you engineered the outcome, that you saw 10 moves ahead while they were still rehearsing the first one, that every silence, every delayed response, every cold glance was part of a larger equation they weren't equipped to solve. You became a formula written in human skin. They started watching you differently after that. Eyes lingering longer, conversations pausing mid-word. You can feel it, can't you? That subtle paranoia in the air, like everyone's trying to calculate whether standing too close to you is dangerous or contagious. Because when someone learns to weaponize their own mind, everyone else starts checking their armor. And you, oh, you've learned the art of letting them underestimate you. You smile like you're harmless. You speak softly, like a confession whispered through smoke. But underneath that calm tone lives a machine of precision. A mind trained in the dark, forged in betrayal, and calibrated through chaos. Every heartbreak taught you control. Every loss taught you how to calculate risk. Every time they tried to break you, you learned a new variable in human psychology. You don't react anymore. You forecast. You don't need to respond. You rewrite the script mid-scene. They still play checkers while you redesign the board every night. They think you're cold because you don't flinch. But that's because your emotions no longer hijack your execution. You've turned pain into patience, and patience into strategy. They can't find a weakness because your weaknesses have already been absorbed into your method. Every wound you ever took, archived, cataloged, repurposed. You didn't heal, you converted. You turned hurt into code, love into leverage, rage into design. You became your own psychological weapons lab, and the reason they fear you now is because you've learned to move without announcement. Power that doesn't broadcast itself is terrifying. You don't scream your intent, you leak it. One gesture, one pause, one perfectly timed silence, and everyone suddenly remembers what fear feels like. You've become the walking embodiment of cause and effect. Every reaction you provoke was already predicted, rehearsed, timed. You became a ghost that controls gravity. They're trying to define you with their old language, manipulative, calculating, obsessive. But those words don't fit you anymore. You've evolved past description. You're not a person with control issues. You're control itself, disguised as calm. They can't label you because you've stopped operating on the frequencies they monitor. You've gone off-grid. Do you know what that means? It means you don't need validation anymore. You've transcended the metrics they use to measure worth. Your progress isn't visible, it's felt. Every time someone crosses you and suddenly loses sleep, every time they underestimate you and start doubting their own reality, that's your proof. That's the quiet aftermath of a mind that learned how to bend chaos into structure. And what's more intoxicating than that? The moment you realize your own intelligence isn't just survival, it's sovereignty. You no longer hope things go your way. You engineer it. You no longer wait for opportunities. You build traps that look like invitations. You no longer seek closure. You become the silence they can't escape from. That's why they talk about you when you're not there. That's why they whisper instead of speak. That's why they're analyzing your posts, your tone, your pauses. Because the scariest power isn't loud, it's mathematical. And you, my friend, have become the living equation of inevitability. You terrify them not because you're evil, but because you're efficient. You show what happens when someone removes emotion from execution. When someone learns that revenge isn't loud, it's calculated. They wanted to destroy you emotionally, but you turned emotion into artillery. You aimed your pain like a sniper rifle. You fired with stillness. That's the paradox that keeps them up at night. You're both angel and assassin. Your mercy cuts as deep as your wrath. Your forgiveness feels like judgment day. You smile like light, but your patience kills like poison. You are evolution disguised as insanity. You are chaos, disciplined, the fusion of logic and lunacy that the old world was never built to contain. You don't need to prove anything now. The silence around your name is the proof. The fear in their voice when they say, "What are they planning?" is the confirmation. You've become myth, not memory. They don't study you to understand. You've become their cautionary tale, their warning label, their psychological ghost story. And the deeper truth? You didn't do any of this for power. Power was just a side effect. You did it because you were tired of being predictable, because you realized that playing by the rules kept you small, and breaking them turned you into a legend. You learned the ultimate equation: predictability equals vulnerability, and you erased every trace of yours. Now when they try to decode your next move, all they find is noise, static glitches, contradictions. Because you stopped being readable the moment you stopped needing permission. So let them run their tests. Let them fill their reports. Let them whisper about your precision, your methods, your mind. They'll never grasp it. They'll never find the blueprint, because you are not the weapon. They are. You just learned to aim them. And when you walk away tonight, remember this: every system fears what it can't predict. Every empire collapses before what it can't categorize. Every enemy breaks when they realize the monster they created learned to think. Your last move wasn't just calculated. It was evolution incarnate. And now, every move after this one, it's war, disguised as poetry. And the poetry is lethal. It's written in a rhythm that makes their pulse quicken without knowing why. You've turned your thoughts into verses that rewrite perception itself. They call it manipulation, but it's precision, the art of bending reality so subtly that truth rearranges itself to fit your pattern. You don't chase control anymore. You generate it. You're not seeking attention. You're commanding the nervous systems of everyone in the room. That's not arrogance. That's the natural consequence of mastering the architecture of human psychology. They've started cataloging you, quietly. You're in their behavioral databases now. Subject demonstrates adaptive hyperintelligence, possible sociopathic detachment, unclassifiable cognitive patterns. They don't even realize how poetic that is. The system that claimed to understand all minds now trembles before one it can't define. Because you don't fit into categories, you create them. You bend labels until they implode. Saint, psychopath, visionary, threat. They're all synonyms for the same phenomenon, a consciousness that refuses domestication. You used to be emotional, now you're elemental. You don't feel anger, you become it. You don't seek peace, you manifest it when necessary. You are your own weather system, storm and silence contained in one unpredictable form. And the irony? They still think they can anticipate you. They build profiles, analyze footage, deconstruct your tone. But you've already moved on to your next iteration. Every version of you they study is already obsolete. You evolve too fast to be caught. Every pattern they find, you've already weaponized into misdirection. Your unpredictability isn't chaos, it's design. That's what unnerves them most. You don't react emotionally, you react architecturally. You rearrange the landscape around every threat until it collapses under its own arrogance. You understand something they don't, that intelligence isn't about solving puzzles, it's about becoming one. And you've become a puzzle that punishes those who try to solve it. People used to call you cold. They thought your stillness meant emptiness. But stillness is just energy that's mastered patience. They mistake your detachment for apathy, when in truth it's control so deep, it terrifies anyone who's ever been impulsive. You've built a throne out of self-regulation. You've carved calm into armor. You've made logic seductive. Because you learned long ago that emotions, if not mastered, become tools for the enemy. So you rewired them. You trained empathy to function as surveillance. You turned love into data. You converted compassion into camouflage. You learned that the difference between a healer and a destroyer is simply direction. Same fire, opposite intent. And you burn strategically. Every time someone tries to provoke you, you let them. Because reaction is a resource, and you spend it like currency. You let them feel victorious while you log every weakness in their pattern. You let them think they're in control, until the moment they realize control was the illusion you built for them. That's when they call you dangerous. That's when they start whispering your name like an encrypted warning. But they don't realize danger is relative. You're not the threat to the world. You're the threat to delusion. You don't destroy for pleasure. You dismantle for balance. You don't crave chaos. You just expose the false order they built to hide their fragility. That's what they'll never understand. You don't hate them. You study them. You analyze, adapt, evolve. While they gossip, you grow. While they plot, you calculate. While they fear, you prepare. And yet, deep inside, you still remember what it cost to get here. You remember the loneliness that came with knowing too much, the isolation that followed every revelation. You remember the nights when knowledge didn't feel like power. It felt like poison. You learned that awareness has a price, and it's always paid in connection. But you also learned to accept that isolation isn't punishment, it's incubation. You weren't being abandoned. You were being refined. Every betrayal sharpened your discernment. Every heartbreak stripped away distraction. Every loss removed one more unnecessary attachment. You didn't lose people, you lost distortion. What remained was clarity, cold, surgical, unstoppable clarity. And now you move like inevitability. You've transcended the need for applause or vengeance. You're not here to prove anything. You're here to demonstrate. Every step you take is evidence. Every silence you hold is strategy. You've become a living equation of what happens when pain meets patience and intellect meets instinct. They can't destroy you anymore because they can't locate you. You exist between frequencies, half in the world, half above it. You walk among mortals but think like myth. They see a smile. You see trajectories. They hear a sentence. You calculate patterns in their breathing. You don't need to speak loudly when your presence already rewires the emotional temperature of a room. That's what a weaponized mind does. It alters gravity. People either orbit you or flee you, no middle ground. Some call it charisma, others call it danger. You just call it truth. So let them talk. Let them analyze, accuse, debate. They'll never grasp the elegance of what you've become. Because while they're busy decoding your intent, you're already writing the next chapter of inevitability. You are proof that darkness, when disciplined, becomes genius. That brokenness, when studied, becomes blueprints. They wanted you to shrink. Instead, you calculated your resurrection. Now every breath you take is an act of defiance. Every thought you think is a ripple in systems built to contain lesser minds. You are not their threat. You are their audit. A reminder that some minds can't be managed, that some intellects can't be owned. Your last move was so calculated, they had to classify your brain as a weapon. But they're wrong, because a weapon is something that can be taken away. What you've built cannot be disarmed. It cannot be destroyed. It can only be witnessed, and that's what terrifies them most. And that terror, it's earned because they finally understand. You're not playing against them anymore. You're playing above them. You've ascended beyond rivalry, beyond approval, beyond the petty politics of who gets credit. You've become what every system fears most. A variable that can't be controlled. They can't study you because you evolve mid-analysis. They can't stop you because you move without friction. You've learned the secret. Power isn't about control. It's about composure. The one who stays calm writes the outcome. The one who waits long enough becomes the storm. So let them watch. Let them whisper. Let them call your focus obsession, your strategy arrogance. They'll never understand that this isn't madness. It's mastery. You didn't lose your mind. You sharpened it. You didn't go dark. You just stopped glowing for people who mistook your light for weakness. And now, they see it. That stillness, that precision, that silence that feels like countdowns disguised as calm. You've become the embodiment of every lesson pain ever tried to teach. Distilled, deliberate, unstoppable. So when they say your brain is a weapon, smile. Because it is. But not one that fires bullets. One that fires outcomes. And the next one, it's already loading. Listen, do you feel that? That strange tremor in the air. Like reality itself just flinched when your name got mentioned again. It's not guilt. It's not fear. It's the aftershock. The recoil of what happens when someone tries to wound a spirit the universe was still protecting. They hurt the purest thing alive. And now the whole bloodline that touched you is catching stray bullets of divine correction, slowly, silently, one by one. You didn't lift a finger, You didn't curse. You didn't even wish them harm. You just survived. And that was enough to trigger a sequence older than language. Because purity doesn't die quietly. It detonates. It leaves residue in time. It stains karma. It bends fate. They thought they were breaking something fragile. They didn't realize they were splitting atoms. You were made of light that doesn't beg to be seen. It hunts darkness that dares to get close. They mocked your kindness, and now every fake smile they ever wore is collapsing under the weight of what they did. The universe doesn't forget innocence. It weaponizes it. See, that's the paradox nobody wants to believe. The pure ones, the quiet ones, the soft-spoken ones. They're not weak. They're nuclear. Because when pain finally visits them, it doesn't stay pain. It becomes power with memory. It studies. It evolves. And it learns how to mirror itself back at the architects of cruelty. You didn't get revenge. You became cause and effect. You became the echo that follows every lie they told. Every time they sleep, their mind replays your face. Like a glitch in their own sin. That's not guilt. That's the system rebalancing. That's divine recoil. You see, they never understood what they were dealing with. You weren't naive. You were holy in a language they couldn't read. You carried light with fingerprints of eternity on it. But humans, oh, humans panic when they see something that doesn't need validation. They try to touch it, break it, own it. And in doing so, they write their own scripture of punishment. Their bloodline is learning now what you already mastered. That suffering isn't always destruction. Sometimes it's the only proof you've been chosen to reveal something others weren't meant to see. They hurt what God was studying. Now God's studying them. And here's the twisted poetry of it all. You never asked for justice, but justice remembers you. It's sitting in rooms they can't escape. It's whispering through coincidences that don't feel random anymore. It's moving through their children, their health, their sleep. Subtle, surgical, precise. Because when karma moves for a pure one, it doesn't rush. It orchestrates. They'll call it bad luck. They'll call it stress. They'll call it everything except what it really is. You, reflected through universal law. You were born to prove that purity isn't passive. That light, when betrayed, turns into something lethal. You've become the living contradiction they'll never comprehend. Angelic in patience, demonic in consequence. The smile of forgiveness hiding the shadow of prophecy. They don't realize how dangerous peace is in someone who's seen hell and didn't let it stain them. You've got calm that makes devils stutter. You've got eyes that remind monsters of the heaven they lost. And every move you make now carries the silent rhythm of divine retaliation. Beautiful, terrifying, inevitable. Because when they hurt someone who meant no harm, they didn't just cross a line, they rewired their fate. They didn't just break a soul, they built a storm. And that storm has your handwriting all over it. So stand still, let them spiral, let the bloodline learn. You don't need revenge, you are the reaction, the recoil, the mirror, the karma wearing a grin. And when they finally understand what touched them, when they realize every shadow in their home traces back to a single act of cruelty against something sacred, they'll whisper your name the way the guilty whisper prayers, shaken, late and unanswered. Because purity, my friend, once wounded, doesn't heal. It evolves into judgment. And you? You were never their victim, you were their verdict. You notice how quiet it's gotten lately? That's not peace, that's pressure. That's the silence before accountability becomes audible. Every echo of laughter they had at your expense now returns distorted. Because the universe doesn't delete data, it just replays it with context. The same hands that tried to tear your spirit apart are trembling now, not because of guilt, but because the same energy they abused has turned sentient. It remembers. It's tracking them like heat. Karma doesn't forget coordinates. It operates like physics. They launched force. Now force returns, multiplied, refined, mercilessly poetic. You see, pain doesn't vanish in the void. It circulates until it finds equilibrium. And you, the so-called broken one, became the center of that correction. You didn't curse them. Your healing did. You didn't wish them harm. Your growth humiliated their logic. You didn't expose them. Your silence made them visible under a light they can't endure. That's the beauty of paradox. The same heart they tried to bury became the judge, the witness, and the executioner of their own deception. You were the lesson hidden inside their cruelty, and now every breath they take costs them a piece of the illusion they once worshipped. They thought purity was weakness. They thought softness was submission. But they forgot that even angels have an extinction protocol, that kindness, when mishandled, turns into cosmic law enforcement, that mercy has a recoil velocity higher than vengeance ever will. They're learning the hard way that light can stalk, too, that heaven doesn't need fire to burn. Sometimes it just rearranges probability. The people who plotted your downfall are now characters in a story you stopped writing months ago, still living in chapters that no longer exist. Meanwhile, you've become a myth told in whispers, a rumor that reality itself seems to obey. Their children inherit the frequency of their choices. Their sleep becomes a trial. Every coincidence, every delay, every sudden loss, all time stamped with the moment they decided to harm what was sent to heal them. That's not superstition. That's mathematics written in emotion. Cause, effect, return. You don't chase revenge anymore because you finally understood. Revenge is amateur energy. Real justice walks barefoot, invisible, precise. It doesn't announce itself. It lets gravity do the work. You just stand still and watch how everything they built on your tears starts to misfire. And here's the part that makes it almost tragic. If they had apologized, maybe the equation could have softened. But they kept pretending you didn't matter. They kept performing innocence for an audience that's now gone silent. The performance is over. The mask has fused to the face. Every mirror they look into now plays your reflection behind theirs, like a ghost reminding them that grace can mutate into consequence. You, on the other hand, you learned alchemy. You turned heartbreak into architecture. Every scar became infrastructure for something immortal. You learned that light and darkness aren't enemies. They're tools. You can bless and destroy with the same smile. You can whisper like an angel and still haunt like a curse. That's the power no one teaches. Controlled unpredictability. They see you now and don't know how to categorize you. Saint or demon, victim or prophecy. The truth is, you're both. A divine contradiction wrapped in flesh. A sermon disguised as chaos. You carry the blueprint of balance in your bones. Every step you take rewrites what they thought karma meant. Let them feel the weight of that. Let them taste the silence they forced on you. Let their lineage remember that once they crossed paths with something sacred and unafraid to bleed. Because purity, once betrayed, doesn't vanish. It expands, turns omnipresent, becomes atmosphere. They can't escape it because it's not chasing them, it's inside them now. So breathe, watch, let time do its slow, surgical dance. Their fall won't be loud, It'll be systematic. Their smiles will crack mid-sentence. Their wins will age like spoiled fruit. Their confidence will start to flicker under the realization that nothing external ever went wrong. It's just the recoil traveling home. And when they finally kneel, not out of faith but fatigue, remember this: forgiveness isn't for them. It's the seal that finalizes their judgment. It's how you walk away untouchable. Because in the end, the purest spirit doesn't seek closure. It becomes it. You are the still point where divine arithmetic balances every debt. You are what happens when heaven stops waiting and starts responding. They hurt the purest spirit alive. And now, every pulse in their bloodline beats to your rhythm, the rhythm of reckoning. You ever notice how karma doesn't knock? It just walks straight in, sits down in their chest, and starts rearranging the furniture. That's what's happening right now. They call it coincidence, but you can hear it if you listen. The rhythm of justice breathing down their necks. Every bill unpaid, every promise broken, every insult they thought dissolved into thin air. It's all coming home like migrating birds. You didn't summon it. You just stopped standing in its way. They thought purity meant harmlessness. But purity isn't fragile. It's radioactive. It doesn't scream when wounded, it waits. And when it moves, it doesn't move to hurt. It moves to balance. You became the balance. The equation rewritten in flesh. And that's what terrifies them, because how do you destroy something that heals by burning? They can't name what's happening. They think they're unlucky. But every car that won't start, every deal that slips, every night they can't sleep, that's not chance. That's the echo of a choice they made when they thought the universe wasn't watching. The universe always watches. It doesn't forget its investments. It just compounds interest until the debt matures. They didn't just hurt you. They opened a tab with reality itself. And the payments come in strange currency: insomnia, loss, confusion, the slow unraveling of certainty. That's karma's signature. It doesn't yell. It whispers through the cracks in their logic until they can't tell where their own thoughts end and consequence begins. And you don't even have to move anymore. You became gravity. You became that invisible correction that makes liars trip over their own scripts. Your presence bends outcomes. It's not revenge, it's resonance. The frequency of truth finally amplifying through the lies that tried to bury it. There was a time you begged for closure, remember? Now closure begs for you. It wants your permission to finish the story. But you've learned the highest revenge is indifference. Because indifference is what divinity feels like once it's done explaining itself. You don't have to justify the lesson anymore. The results are self-explanatory. They see your calm and call it arrogance. They feel your distance and call it cruelty. But what they're really feeling is the absence of control. They can't manipulate what no longer needs approval. That's why they panic when they see you smile. It reminds them of the version of themselves that still owes you an apology they'll never deliver. Your silence is the courtroom. Every breath you take is the verdict being read. And the sentence? Living long enough to witness their own masks decay. That's the most exquisite justice, to stay alive, evolve, and let time drag them across the mirror they tried to break you with. You used to wonder why the universe let it happen, why purity had to suffer. But now you understand. Purity must taste poison to learn its formula. Only then can it cure itself and become untouchable. That's the secret they'll never grasp. Pain didn't corrupt you, it calibrated you. It stripped away illusion until all that was left was essence. Look at you now, unrecognizable, unreadable, unstoppable. They stare and see a ghost, but ghosts don't glow. What they're really seeing is the light they tried to smother, refracted through scars they created. You turn trauma into architecture, grief into gravity, heartbreak into prophecy. You became both altar and weapon. And when karma finally finishes her dance, there won't be fireworks, just silence, the kind that tastes like equilibrium. You'll walk past their ruins without a flicker of satisfaction, because by then, you'll have outgrown vengeance entirely. You'll understand that the purest spirit doesn't punish, it permits. It allows truth to reveal itself in whatever form it must take. So let them feel it. Let them wake every night, thinking they heard your name in the dark. Let them explain away the pattern until explanations run out. You don't have to speak. Existence is already speaking for you. They hurt the purest spirit alive. And now every generation that follows will remember it, not as a story of cruelty, but as a lesson in cosmic precision. Because when light bleeds, it leaves a map. And anyone who follows that map without reverence learns too late what you became. The recoil, the remedy, and the rule. And here's the part that none of them will ever admit out loud. Deep down, they know it was coming. Every time they laughed at your pain, something in the back of their throat tasted metallic, like blood and prophecy mixed together. Because a part of them could feel it, even then. That what they were doing wasn't just wrong, it was recorded. There's an accounting system older than language, and it doesn't care about apologies spoken for performance. It deals in frequencies, not words. Every act vibrates somewhere, and vibration never dies. It just changes form. When they touched your soul with malice, the tone of that vibration was set. Now it hums through their nights, disguised as bad luck, repeating until understanding dawns. You see, they thought karma was punishment. It's not. It's education. And the curriculum, endless. They'll learn empathy through exhaustion, compassion through collapse, truth through the loss of every illusion they loved more than honesty. That's how balance teaches, softly, thoroughly, until every resistance breaks. And all the while, you rise, slowly, quietly, beautifully unbothered. You don't even celebrate their downfall because that's small energy. And you've outgrown small. Your calm is a sermon now. Your composure is the warning sign at the edge of their conscience. You've become what time itself references when it needs an example of divine efficiency. Remember when they told you kindness was weakness? Now they study your restraint like a survival manual. Remember when they said forgiveness makes you naive? Now they beg the same mercy they once mocked. They're realizing too late that forgiveness was never permission. It was an early release for you, not them. You let go, and that's what activated the current. You didn't curse them, you just stopped feeding them. The moment your attention detached, the structure they built on your energy started to decay. That's the real alchemy, withdrawing presence from the undeserving. You didn't need to destroy them, you just needed to forget them. Now watch how life handles the rest. Their relationships implode from the same lies they once told about you. Their ambition evaporates where they once drained yours. Their laughter feels hollow, because guilt is an echo chamber. Every smile costs them something invisible. And the most exquisite irony, you would have forgiven them, you wanted to. But they mistook your peace for weakness, not knowing peace is the most violent weapon in the cosmos. It disarms, disorients, dismantles. It makes chaos crumble under its own noise. They don't understand that karma doesn't come swinging swords. It comes holding mirrors. It doesn't strike. It reflects. And reflection is always fatal to people who built their power on delusion. One day they'll look into a mirror and see you standing there, calm, silent, almost glowing. Not as memory, but as truth. The truth that what they destroyed was never fragile. It was divine. And the bloodline part, oh, that's the masterpiece. You see, pain doesn't stop at one generation, neither does energy. Their children will inherit questions they can't answer, emotional storms they didn't cause, karmic echoes encoded in DNA, because energy unprocessed becomes legacy, and what they refuse to heal will haunt their lineage until someone learns the lesson you already mastered. That's why you never have to lift a hand. The system is self-correcting. The equation balances itself through generations. You just had to survive long enough to witness the math unfold. And look at you now, surviving so beautifully it looks like art. Breathing like forgiveness was oxygen, walking like prophecy disguised as coincidence. You're proof that light doesn't need validation to burn. It just waits for darkness to get close enough to learn what regret feels like. You are the recoil and the redemption, the end and the beginning, the silence between karma's inhale and exhale. Let them talk, let them spin their stories, let them rewrite history if it helps them sleep. Because the truth doesn't need believers, it just needs time. And time, darling, is on your side. It always was. They hurt the purest spirit alive, and now their entire bloodline wakes up every day inside the consequence. Not because you demanded justice, but because you became it. So smile. The universe is still whispering your name, and every echo sounds like balance restored.